Mage Armor is essential. In fact, it's one of the best low-level defensive spells in Dungeons & Dragons. Here's the spell's description and the classes who can cast it. Now let's get right into 6 ways to use the Mage Armor spell in your next D&D game. Mage Armor's first and very basic use is to give unarmored classes some AC. There's a reason that sorcerers and wizards, the 2 base classes without armor proficiencies, both have Mage Armor on their spell lists. Without armor, these classes have a base AC of 10 plus their dexterity modifier. If we assume a standard wizard or sorcerer starts the game with 12 AC, Mage Armor brings them up to 15. To see just how strong that is, let's look at an example. A goblin has a plus 4 attack modifier, so they'll hit a 12 AC wizard with a roll of 8 or better. That's a 65% hit rate for an average of 5 damage per hit, or 3.25 damage per round. With 15 AC, the goblin needs an 11 or better to hit, a 50% hit rate, or 2.5 damage per round. That's a 23% reduction in incoming damage, not to mention an equal reduction in your chance to be hit, which is important when you're concentrating on a spell. That's pretty good going for an 8-hour, no-concentration spell that you can keep active 100% of the time. Which brings me to my next tip: cast it at the end of a long rest. If you cast Mage Armor during the last hour of a long rest, you can have it active all day long without expending a spell slot. Make it an even more efficient defensive spell. Rest casting is allowed, rules as written, for now. The 1 D&D playtest materials for clerics and species indicates a rule change that causes casting a non-cantrip spell to interrupt a long rest. In other words, apparently the game's designers and some DMs find the tactic cheesy or unsatisfying, so double check how your DM plans to rule things. Even if this trick is allowed at your table, you'll still need to have a first level spell slot available at the end of your adventuring day to pull it off, which is usually pretty easy to do as you start getting more spell slots. For a non-contentious use of Mage Armor, you can protect vulnerable targets. Mage Armor doesn't have to be cast on yourself. It's a touch range spell that works on any willing creature. Good candidates for receiving Mage Armor include squishy NPC escorts, mounts you ride, and familiars you summon. Pretty much any creature without armor benefits from this spell. Another good time for Mage Armor is during intrigue missions that might get ugly. The spell text doesn't indicate whether Mage Armor produces visible effects. That means it's up to you, your DM, and consistency. In any case, one potential benefit of Mage Armor is that you can wear it in a situation where a fight is likely to break out, but you don't want anyone else to know that ahead of time. If only Roose Bolton had Mage Armor, he probably could have avoided that slap from Catelyn. Poor guy. In a similar vein, Mage Armor can be used to cheat in unarmored combat. This one's pretty niche, but if you or an ally is ever challenged to gladiatorial-style combat or just a brawl at a pub, Mage Armor can help you get an unfair advantage. Again, this relies somewhat on your DM buying in on Mage Armor being invisible. But if you don't care that onlookers know that you had an unfair advantage, then this use works regardless of DM buy-in. My final tip is subclass specific, but that's to enjoy the free utility as an Abjuration Wizard. This subclass gets the ability to create a ward that absorbs hit points whenever they cast a first level or higher Abjuration spell. This means that not only do Abjuration Wizards enjoy Mage Armor's plus 3 AC, they also get extra effective hit points from it. That's all I've got for Mage Armor uses. Let me know if you've got any other good tricks in the comments. For now, I'm going to cover the 3 most common rules questions that come up around the spell. Rule number 1 is that Mage Armor works with a shield equipped. A shield is not considered armor, so you can still benefit from Mage Armor with one equipped. Rule number 2 is that Mage Armor doesn't stack with other AC calculations. Things like Draconic Resilience and Unarmored Defense, both the Barbarian and Monk versions, will never stack with Mage Armor. All of these effects simply change the way you calculate AC, do not buff your AC. Mage Armor does, however, still stack with things that just provide a flat AC boost like Shield of Faith. And rule number 3 isn't a rule, but an open question, and that's whether Mage Armor is visible or not. This is something that's left to DM and spellcaster choice. Nothing in the rules indicates one way or another. This might come up in a role-playing scenario where a player doesn't want to show onlookers that they're magically protected. Alternatively, a player might want to radiate a cool aura while Mage Armor is active as a way of warning enemies not to bother attacking. For me, it's all about consistency. If a player wants a bright, shiny Mage Armor to put off attackers 1 minute, they can't switch to an invisible one later when it suits their needs. Of course, a player could easily say that they choose a new color for their Mage Armor every time, and sometimes it's clear, aka invisible. Really, this one's totally up to you to decide. With all those applications and rules out of the way, let's get to the real question of the hour. Is Mage Armor a good spell? My answer is a definite yes. Mage Armor provides an insane boost to survivability. It's a straightforward plus 2 to plus 4 AC buff for most people you target with it. And it lasts for 8 hours with no upkeep whatsoever. And unless you gain proficiency in armor through a multi-class dip or from feats, Mage Armor stays relevant into the late game. Take it from me, if you're playing a wizard or sorcerer and you enjoy surviving, never go on an adventure without your Mage Armor on. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this guide on Mage Armor helpful and can show your appreciation with a like and subscribe. It's a massive help for small YouTubers like me. If you have any stories about using Mage Armor in your own Dungeons & Dragons game, or questions about the spell's rules, please share them in the comments below. This is D&D Lounge wishing you the best of luck in your next spellcasting venture.